It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Saturday, the 15th of March. Beware the Ides of March. Yes, I'm Michael Groff. Interesting weather to talk about. First, for us, we had some rain overnight, even a little bit of small hail. That is now out of the area. We're left with just a few clouds around for the rest of the day today. A warming trend will take over. It's not going to be 58 degrees every day until summer, sadly. But with that warming trend, we'll still see some clouds around at times. How warm will it get? How long will it last? Do we have any chances of precipitation? We'll get to that. Plus, a high-impact, dangerous weather situation across the southeast U.S., and we're going to get well into that as we already have severe storms firing up over Mississippi and some of the adjacent states. So, needless to say, we've got to get going here. A lot to cover. Almanac from yesterday, 58 degrees was the afternoon high. That is 20 degrees below the average high of 78. 46 was the morning low, average low of 54. We did pick up 1/100th of an inch of rain officially in the bucket at Sky Harbor yesterday, but we had a little bit more overnight. We're still pretty far behind on rainfall and will remain so as we don't anticipate any precipitation, at least for a while. As we take a look outside right now, just before 11 o'clock, a few cumulus clouds out there. Those fluffy clouds, Michelle loves those. We're sitting at 55 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point's 43, humidity 62%. It's a light wind and the barometer is rising. Satellite out here across the southwest, that system that brought the gloomy, cloudy, cool weather that I love so much yesterday, well, that is moving on out, and the clouds are moving out with it. And so as a result, unfortunately, we are going to see a return to much warmer weather. I know you wanted to see more rain around here. Many folks were like, I'm really enjoying this rain. Maybe not so much the cold weather, but I'm enjoying the rain and some of that higher elevation snow. And unfortunately, we're just not going to see any more of that for a while. All right, here's the watch warning map, and we've got a lot going on here. First, we've got this deep blowout over the Plain States. Behind it, we've got some blizzard warnings over parts of Minnesota and South Dakota. We've got a lot of wind advisories from the Gulf Coast all the way up into the central Great Lakes, and also behind that system over the northern Plain States, red flag warnings for much of central and south Texas. Here in Arizona, our advisories are gone. We've got more winter weather conditions over the Great Basin in the Pacific Northwest with another system that'll be due in there, but that is not going to have any meaningful impact on us. Now, we've got tornado watches in place across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, into portions of Tennessee. We've got a couple of tornado warnings. Now, as of the time I put together this graphic, that was quite a while ago, we had tornado warnings over portions of Louisiana and northwest Mississippi, but those have shifted further east, and I'm going to show you that. I've got up-to-date graphics there in just a second. All right, here is the latest convective outlook for today. We've got a very rare high risk of severe storms from central Mississippi through central and north Alabama. Included in there, you've got places like Columbus and Hattiesburg and Starkville and Jackson, Mississippi, as well as Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, Alabama, up to about Huntsville. So right up into the Tennessee Valley. You've got that moderate risk, which is also pretty rare. That's level 4 out of 5. And that encompasses much of the rest of Mississippi, Alabama, and even noses into Tennessee and Georgia, North Florida. So the broader severe weather risk runs again from the Gulf Coast up into the eastern Great Lakes. So this is a serious situation across the southeast. This is the tornado outlook. This is the probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. When you see numbers 30 to 44%, that's significant. That means you put your finger on this map someplace in that 30 to 44% range. That means within 25 miles of a point where you have selected, there is a 44% chance of a tornado. That's huge. And even outside of that, I mean, you're still in the, just under the 14, 15 to 29% bracket there. So again, there is a huge chance of seeing a tornado. And of course, with the hatched area, that is the potential of a significant tornado. That means a long track violent tornado, EF2 or greater in magnitude. All right, here's the satellite across the southeast, and you can see, of course, showers and thunderstorms have fired up. Now, there's quite a bit of clear sky there over South Alabama and North Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. And that means unstable air will be aplenty there. There's lots of fuel for more storms to fire up this afternoon. And we have seen some mixed signals as to exactly how extensive this severe weather threat will be. And we're going to run through those on modeling in a second. But I want to get you a quick check of the radar there. This is across Mississippi and Alabama. This is the Columbus radar. And we've got a few tornado warning polygons across central and northern Mississippi. And I want to highlight this one here in south central Mississippi. This one's coming up toward, where is that? That looks like Bassfield. And I mean, this is the velocity display on the radar, and that is as classic a look as a tornado that you're going to see. I mean, there is a tornado clearly indicated by radar there. And so that is racing off to the northeast, and these tornadoes, they have stayed down for a little while now. And we can't tell you exactly how strong that tornado is, but there is a clear signal of a tornado. Obviously, they've got a tornado warning polygon there as of the moment I'm doing this video. And again, you can see back here, there's several tornado warning polygons. We also have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings. And aside from just the threat of tornadoes, which is obviously the most important part of this, we do have a threat of strong, damaging straight line winds and large hail. And we have seen some really significant hail out of some of these storms, probably golf ball size, maybe even bigger than that. We could even see baseball size hail today from some of the strongest storms. So all modes of severe weather are possible. And remember, for a storm to be considered severe, you need hail that's an inch in diameter or greater. That's about the size of a quarter. Or winds 58 miles per hour in speed or greater. Those are the two components. Either of those need to be in place for a severe thunderstorm warning. And obviously a tornado, well, that's either observed by law enforcement or a trained spotter or somebody that spots a tornado on the ground, or of course radar indicated, and that's how you get those tornado warnings. All right, now let's go closer to home here for a moment. The precipitation outlook, this is valid through next Saturday morning, and rain amounts in Phoenix. Well, we're done with rain. East of us, across eastern Arizona, a little bit of rain this morning, but that's moving out too. And there might be a little bit of rain and snow across northern Arizona on Tuesday with a passing trough, but pretty much we should be dry for a while. Let's get to the models right now. GFS 06Z run 2 o'clock this afternoon. Negative tilt short wave coming out of the southwest into the southern plains. That's the fuel for those severe storms. You've got that very strong diffluence that's coming across the southeast from Louisiana through Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and up into Kentucky and points north from there. And so, those winds, as they fan out, they spread apart, and that allows air parcels to rise where wind vectors are separating. So that's why you get those severe storms. And boy, is that a clear sign of it today. Down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Now for us, hey, look, we don't have much to worry about. A few clouds, highs, mid-60s. We're going to be below average again today. Just a gorgeous day. Get out and enjoy it. Elsewhere across the country, there's that deep low. It's lifting off up into Canada. And there's another surface low that develops this afternoon somewhere over North Mississippi and into West Tennessee. And again, we're going to see the veering of the winds with altitude. We're going to, south and east of that low, the main focus for severe storms will shift further across Mississippi into Alabama and Tennessee, and even North Florida, and eventually into Georgia later today, tonight, and into the early morning hours on Sunday. And if we look at some of the parameters on this, all right, let's really dive into this. All right, this is the simulated radar product coming off of the HRRR. This is at 2 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. You can see the area of showers and thunderstorms will be moving on east. Now, there's going to be some discrete cells out ahead of the main frontal band that's going to come through. Once that frontal band comes through, you're in the clear. Things are going to very quickly quiet down. But before that, some discrete supercells are possible, maybe some training of cells. And that could also set the stage for some flash flooding. We do have a flash flood watch across northern Alabama. And so we have seen some areas of local flooding with some of the strongest storms too. And that's just another concern, as if you don't have enough to worry about there. But some discrete cells Obviously, things look rather organized, and this is 5 o'clock. This is 8 o'clock. You can see those storms moving across, and we could see some areas seeing multiple rounds of supercell storms, and then the main line of storms, the QLCS, the quasi-linear convective system, a line of storms where the main threat from that will shift from long-track tornadoes to strong, damaging straight-line winds. Now, there could still be isolated tornadoes within a QLCS. That's absolutely possible. But again, the main focus will shift toward hail and strong winds with that as it comes through later this evening across Mississippi, Alabama, and and Tennessee, and ultimately into Georgia. All right, now, here you go. This is the instability, convective available potential energy, the ability for air parcels to rise. And look, these numbers have actually come down on some of these runs. We see a little less instability across Alabama, but don't let this fool you. We still have values anywhere from 500 to 1,500 plus joules per kilogram, briefly spiking to over 2,000 joules per kilogram, especially over South Alabama. And I know people look at some of these graphics and they say, okay, the Cape numbers are a little lower, so that means the threat has decreased. And I think that's with the winds aloft that we have, the winds are just screaming through the atmosphere. Okay, we have very strong winds aloft, up at 500 millibars, anywhere from 70 to 90 knot winds coming through, and there's plenty of shear. You don't need a lot of Cape. You don't need a lot of instability in a highly sheared environment to get severe storms. And still, 1,000, 1,500 joules per kilogram is more than enough. You see, the higher numbers are back over Mississippi, 2,000 and 3,000 joules per kilogram. But either way, it doesn't matter. These Cape values, and again, as we take it further into the afternoon and evening hours, yes, they're not quite as high as we were looking at on some of the runs yesterday. But that doesn't mean you let your guard down. This is still a very serious situation. And, the last thing I ever do on these videos is get into hyperbole or use words like dangerous situation if it's not. But this is still a serious situation, potentially dangerous situation across Mississippi, Alabama, maybe North Florida, up into Tennessee and Georgia today, tonight, early on Sunday morning. Here's the significant tornado parameter. This is a composite index. And yes, these numbers are not as absolutely off the charts ridiculous as what we were looking at yesterday, but I want to tell you guys that any number over 2 on this index is meaningful, is significant. And you still have values of 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 units on this graphic. So we are still looking at the potential of significant tornadic supercells across the southeast today. This is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then, as I mentioned, the bulk shear is still very high. These numbers, depending on where you are across the region, you still have 70, 80 knots worth of shear, in some cases higher than that. We're still looking at numbers that are almost maxed on this graphic. So again, the winds are screaming through the atmosphere, a highly sheared environment. There is definitely going to be a QLCS that comes through ultimately. So severe weather is all but a certainty here across the southeast today. We're already seeing it. I mean, we showed you that on the radar just a moment ago across Mississippi with a number of severe thunderstorm warnings and a few tornado warnings. All right, this is a forecast sounding coming off of the HRRR. And again, we show these sometimes. We really like to get under the hood on these videos. This looks like a bunch of Klingon to some of you, but this is from the HRRR for Tuscaloosa this afternoon. I believe this is at 21Z, which is 4 p.m. local time. And again, all these numbers are still looking pretty good. Yes, the energy helicity index, not as high as yesterday. The STP values, not as high as we were looking at yesterday. The Cape values, not quite as high. Still, these are significant, meaningful values. Still 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram worth of Cape. Still good mixing ratios. Still decent lapse rates. Still strong winds aloft. I mean, look at that. The BRN shear, the bulk Richardson number. That's almost at 100. 100 meters squared per second squared. That's anything over about 30 to 35 is significant for severe weather. So again, the the probability of severe storms, you see the possible hazard type on the right is PDS tornado. That's particularly dangerous situation tornado. Look at the photograph. I mean, this is still a very significant tornado sounding. Just because it's not off the charts doesn't mean it's not still very significant and something that you should concern yourself with here. But again, this isn't to scare anybody. Look, this is tornado season. This happens in Dixie all the time. All right. November to May is tornado season in the Deep South. This is nothing new. This is something we'll get through. If you're watching us from down there, you know what to do. When you hear the warnings, lowest floor, interior room, closet, hallway. If you can get to a basement, great. If you're in a mobile home, a car, get to a storm shelter, get to a local business, get inside a reinforced building as quickly as possible. Get those warnings. If you've got a weather radio, you got a smartphone, that's what you do. We don't have to worry about this too often in the Southwest, but I tell people even here in Phoenix, I mean, when you get these severe thunderstorm warnings, don't take them lightly. Always be prepared if you hear a warning. And I know we live in a culture now where people want to run out and put it on YouTube, and I get that. I get the temptation to do that, but when you hear the warning, get inside, get down, stay away from windows. If you got a bike helmet, put that on. You got an air horn, have that. Protect your head. Grab a mattress, grab a pillow. That's where most tornado deaths occur, is from blunt force trauma to the head. So, and that's, again, this is obviously being covered by a bunch of different outlets today, and I appreciate you checking it out here, but, that's just the situation. And, people say, well, if you're talking Phoenix, Arizona weather, why do you cover this? Because we have a number of people that watch us from other areas, and they have asked us over the years to talk about this sort of thing, and so that's why we do that. We're a full-service channel here. All right, now for tomorrow, that's gone. I mean, now we see the front moving toward the east. It's for the East Coast. Now, there's still a risk of severe storms, but it's more of a linear type event. That doesn't mean there still couldn't be some tornadoes, some isolated tornadoes, anywhere from Tallahassee and Jacksonville, and maybe even as far south as Tampa Bay and Orlando, all the way up toward Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City. But the likelihood of any violent tornadoes and all that decreases dramatically for tomorrow. Still, a severe weather threat is there. For us, hey, things are quiet. Mostly sunny in the morning, turning partly sunny in the afternoon. We're warmer, highs in the mid-70s. A gorgeous day. All right, getting it back here toward Monday. We're quiet, partly sunny, high temperatures right around 80. Now, Tuesday, there's a trough that's going to pass by mainly to the north of us. Initially, we had a slight chance of rain in our forecast. We've taken that out. There could be a few showers for northern Arizona, maybe. But other than that, just some passing clouds early, then mostly sunny and cooler. High temperatures will drop back to the upper 60s to near 70. That'll mean a cool night Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We'll be down in the 40s, most spots, maybe upper 30s in the coldest areas, and then high temperatures, upper 60s, low 70s. We're back, getting back toward the upper 70s and low 80s by the time we get toward Thursday of next week. I mean, it's going to be gorgeous. Friday, upper 70s, low 80s, mostly sunny. Here's a week from today. This is Saturday, the 22nd of March, a zonal flow. High temperatures probably up around 80, maybe the low 80s or so. Out 10 days, Monday, the 24th. And the heights are coming up a little bit further, so temperatures will just ever so slightly nudge maybe toward the mid or upper 80s if that verifies. And again, you see the storm track is staying well to the north of us. Zonal flow around here, pretty typical as we get toward late March and moving toward April. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble, you can pretty much forget it because these numbers are reflective of the 06Z ensemble run, which includes the rain that fell overnight, which is about all we're going to get for the next 15 days in all probability. Looking at temperatures off the national blend of models, we're going to eventually see that trend upward as we go deeper into the week, and by next weekend and thereafter, high temperatures in the 80s, and yeah, you see that 91 degrees out there toward about 10 days. We don't even want to talk about that. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video due back here on Monday morning, but of course, updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, and of course you do, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then please support this channel. Help us out by clicking that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make a monetary contribution. Or even better than that is if you donate via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related and tangentially Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, as is the links to our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX, the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear. And, oh yeah, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into that station. If you want to hear what blood, sweat, and tears sounds like in a musical sense, in an audio form, give that a listen. You can click on the links in the description, or you can go directly to kmgx.com and listen via that avenue. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there, and you guys have yourselves a delightful, dare I even suggest a beautiful rest of your Saturday.